Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is PracticalPat here, and usually Just Life is here to tell these kind of stories, but looks like I'm taking over, I guess, from here on out. Not saying we're doing these all the time. I should probably do these here and there, just to document more stuff into the story folder. If you haven't checked out that playlist of stories and cut comms, feel free to do so. I thought this would be pretty interesting to tell, since this is something I was like, whoa, really? You stole stuff? But then it might not be surprising for some people, as I was a dumbass back then and just didn't really give a shit. All that dink kush, back then, just kicking in there. That Call of Duty, the smell of high school, BO, blowjobs, and just sex. I think it might be. I'm thinking of probably the nightclub, the strip club there. I think I'm getting a little bit carried away. It's not really like that, Maybe smells like BO. Once again, here we are in lunch. It's lunchtime, and it's a pretty interesting time of the day, because it's lunch. Obviously, classes, teacher, big boobies. I don't know, but basically all I know is that this lunch in particular was interesting, because the start of freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, the lunch periods were kind of dull. They weren't bad, but senior year was one of those interesting years for lunch. The reason I say this is because of the group of people I would be with. Now, you would think the popular kids would have the biggest table. They would have the widest, longest table. You would think that table would be filled because there's so many popular kids. Not at the school we went to. At the school we went to, we had a lot, outsiders is what you'd call them. Or you'd have these kids that are, I guess, I don't know what the hell we would call ourselves, to be quite honest, because everybody was so different. But I guess you could say the outsiders, the ones that really don't do anything curricular, any activities in school. We didn't really do much of that. I mean, I did some stuff, but not anything crazy, playing football and tap sacked and raped in the ass. Wait, what? No, nothing like that. We didn't. So look, lunchtime, we had the biggest table is all I'm gonna say. And this plays a role because a lot of the times, I'd find myself sitting at another table, and same thing with 5 other kids. We would get stuck with the smallest table in the room. There would be these long ass tables, and people would sit at those because it was a lot more convenient to have more, a bigger group sitting at a table. But over the years, they decided to limit it to smaller, tables, and there'd be a lot more rounder tables is what I'm saying. And the group of friends that we would have, they would hang out at the smaller table because other tables would get filled up very quick, so we'd have to rush to get to a table. And a lot of the time, even if we did sit at a large table, we'd have some other people sitting next to us, but dude, it would get filled up quick. You'd have people literally sitting on top of the table because there was no room. You'd have people standing because there was no room. Lunch period I had, it was always me and the group of people that I hung out with. During lunch, we'd have the biggest table. Dude, it was crazy. Just fucking people would have nowhere to sit. You'd have people sitting on the goddamn ground, and there wouldn't be enough seats. You'd have goddamn 6 seats, and we got goddamn 12, 15 people over here trying to sit down. Nobody's got enough room, so everybody's just standing up. It's just brings back a lot of memories. But this one in particular has something to do with me, and it was kind of before our buddies that would get back from these classes they would take at another school. They would come in, they would rush to get to a table for us, or somebody would take a table for us and sit there, and everybody would just rush in, and then we'd come over eventually. But that's besides the point. I'm getting a little bit off track here. Because the main story, this story has to do with before that group comes in. It's just me and a couple other people. We're hanging out at a smaller table with some other people. Went up to the lunch line, got some food, bam, sat, and did the usual. It was senior year of high school, like I'm mentioning with this whole scenario, where last year of like high school, I started to pick up the habit of smoking weed. So I'd come in high sometimes here and there, or I'd just be tired. You know, it was always in between. I'd just be tired, sleeping, or higher than a damn kite. Anyways, you know, here it is lunchtime. And I don't know, for some reason, I think I had it with somebody. It was a buddy of ours. Me and him would sit together along with a couple other people. Out of nowhere, you know, I decided to go up in lunch line, get my food, and I ended up grabbing the apple. Now, I ended up grabbing 2 apples and didn't think, you know, of putting it back because I had one. I had it on me. I ended up putting my jacket, my pocket, I should say, of my jacket, and I had the other one on the tray of my food, and I just check out with that and everything. Boom, bam, and the lunch ladies didn't say anything, so I just get my food, pay for it, and go sit down, and forgetting that that apple is in my pocket. So I'm eating and stuff. I reach over. I'm like, wait a minute. And Sean's like, yo, can I have the apple? And he's like, well, I just revealed this guy named a buddy of ours. I guess I mentioned before, his name's Sean. So he wants the apple that I have. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on, I got another one. So I had one. He's like, wait, how did you, you go up there and just steal it? I'm like, yeah, I guess. They didn't really say anything, so fucking, like, I swear, I got myself in the dumbest shit at halftime. It got into a habit of stealing is where it gets to at this point with the story. So when this happened, John had this idea. He's like, you know what, Pat, if you're able to do that, you should get another apple. So what do? I go and get a little dessert, and I grab an apple. And they didn't say anything. Nobody seen anything. I just grabbed the dessert and the apple, and I pay for the dessert, and I come back with the apple and give him the other one. And they're like, yo, dude, this is insane, you know, because I swear to God, seniors in high school, it's like, you'd be more stressed, like, seniors in high school were more stressed about their goddamn grades, and we were more like, yo, we could get away with stealing, bro, we could steal apples. And then I'm like, you know what, yeah, we could, yeah. Not every day we would do this, but once or twice a week we would do this, okay? Here it is, like, a couple days later, it's like end of the week, Friday. Sean's like, yo, you should go up there and steal another apple. So I go up, get my food, steal the apple, and give him the apple. So it just keeps going on, this pattern of, you know, us doing this stupid and not realizing, you know, we're thinking, oh, just an apple, who cares, you know? And we're not realizing that eventually these guys, the lunch ladies and the principal and the vice principal, I think, I can't remember, a couple people would be in the cafeteria, the monitor, everything, you know. Eventually they were starting to catch on. It wasn't until a couple weeks later they were starting to catch on to us stealing stuff, but I'm not going to tell you yet because it just keeps going on. We just keep going up there getting food, and it gets crazy. Okay, this gets crazy because I now start actually stealing, like, not apples but food. Okay, so I was like sneaking trays, and we had this idea of taking a tray of fries. Basically what would happen is I'd be like, okay, I want a thing of fries with gravy on them because somebody wanted that, and I'd get like fries and the pizza, and I'd stack that on top with the milk. And we would do this kind of technique of just taking food and sneaking under, and then they wouldn't see it because of how, like, because the shelf for the food was, like, you know, over, like, us pushing the tray to cashing out, and they wouldn't be able to see it because it would be underneath the tray on top, which would be my food, so they wouldn't see the other tray below. So we started doing this, and it blew my mind because the first time we did this, didn't get caught. Did this again later in the week, didn't get caught, and we stole like 2 apples as well. It eventually was going to stop, all right? It was a couple weeks in, you know, and we were getting crazy. We were like starting to steal like ice cream and stuff. It was getting a little bit chaotic. Milk, and we weren't even paying for it. We were just sneaking it underneath the car in or stuffing in our pockets. It would get to the point that like Sean would be up there with me, and he'd basically have my back. He'd be like, yo, put that in there, put that in there. And it just got so out of control. Like even a couple of people that we knew would come up and like just be right next to me. Like, and it was just this one time out of nowhere where I was happened to be alone in line getting my food, and we wanted to get a thing of fries. So we got a thing of fries, gravy, like a big ass tray of fries and gravy, and just I got like a few things, stacked that on top of the fries with the gravy. And I go to the lunch lady, and then she gives me this weird look like I'm doing something wrong. And here's what happened. So I go pay for my food, grab that tray of fries and my stuff, bring it on over. And, you know, out of nowhere, this guy comes behind me. He's like, young man, I know what you're doing. You have to come to my office. I'm going to need to speak with you. But feel free to eat your lunch. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over and talk to my buddies. And just, no. Stay right there. Eat your lunch. Don't go talking to them. So I'm like, okay. It gets pretty interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because here I am. I'm just like kind of like chilling, vibing. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's all right. Got caught by the big guy. Nothing big, nothing bad's gonna happen. Because here we are, we're all like tweaking out. We're like, yo, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? He's like, yo, like Sean's like, yo, Pat, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You're on your own. So I go eat my food. And they bring me down to the office. I'm just sitting there. I'm just waiting for, whatever is going to happen. So I get called into the office, talk to the principal. And, I thought it was going to go bad. Like, oh, going to get suspended. Going to get in-school suspension. I didn't know what to think. And I actually did that in-school suspension for just dumb. This time it was just like a ISS, in-school suspension, where I wouldn't be sitting eating by myself, but it was just for a period. I'd sit there and then go to my classes after that. And then after school, what they want me to do was help the janitor out sweeping the staircases. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That was the hardest punishment I ever had in my life. No, dude, it's the easiest punishment ever. I'm like over here like, oh, okay. So I just miss a period. They give me ISS for a period. Then I get out. And then I go and basically help the janitor sweep up a little bit after school. I'm like, oh, okay. I was going to stay after anyways. And they made me only do that for 2 nights. It was like, oh, okay. That's my punishment for stealing food. Great society, great system that we have here. I'm sure nowadays it would probably be different. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would not recommend trying to be Robin Hood, stealing food for your friends, taking from the rich, giving to the poor. I would recommend doing that because I'm sure you'd probably be suspended. You're not going to get easy like me. I got an easy. I don't know why they just were like, who gives? I mean, that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's pretty much it for this story. Pretty long one. I know. You probably are already dozing off. You're like, is this ever going to end? Yes, it's going to end. Let me know what you thought. Comment section down below. Smack a like on this if you did enjoy the story. I thought this was interesting. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you've not done so. That was just my story. Anyways, I'll see you all at the next one. Peace out.